I got it. Decker,
Yes.
McMurphy,
Here.
Eaton,
Here.
Hannaford,
Here.
Tucker,
Here.
Poe,
Yes.
Olson. And you have with us guest Marion Martin with the Alva Review Courier, Darren Slater, Superintendent of Northwest Technology Center, and Senator Casey Murdoch. Welcome. Item 3, approval of the minutes of the September 11th, 2019 special meeting. You should have got those in your packet.
I'll move we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Eaton, second by Tucker. Eaton,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
McMurphy,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Poe.
Yes.
Miss anybody? Okay. Next, Alan, is financials.
I looked through those in detail yesterday. Give everybody a chance to look through them, but I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
Does anybody have any questions about the financials? Any questions? Okay. Motion by Poe, second by Hannaford. Poe,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
McMurphy,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
The next item is update possible action regarding the status of our current goals and objectives for 2019-2020. We have those goals as the infrastructure, which consists of the Avard Rail Project, and the water resource conservation, downtown revitalization and wayfinding signage, and the Alva Arena Project. I can give you, I guess, some updates if you want them.
That'd be great.
Okay. It's been a busy quarter. As far as, and it's a good thing Slater's here because he is on that Alva Arena committee, and if I say something wrong, he'll jump on me here. On the arena, we have met with USDA 2 or 3 different times. I think we're looking at making application with them, so we had to go through a new entity process because it is a new entity. We don't have any background. So we went through that process, and then we had to submit for a 5x5 waiver to the national office, and we've done that. So now we're,
5x5 waiver.
because we don't have that history, I had to submit to them, and with the dollar figures attached with this project, it's such a large project, we had to submit to them, I guess, our project, we had to submit our incorporation and everything, and they had to know that we had this experience, they have to sign off on it.
We have no operational experience.
I've
Never heard that term,
So
5x5 waiver.
So that's something that, because of the large dollar figure and us not having experience,
Yeah.
they are requiring that. So
Okay.
anyway, we've made that application. We are working on the financial feasibility right now. We have 100% plans, and so we have several of the boxes already checked off. So we're looking at probably like a 3 to 6 month window is what I'm being told, maybe, to get that finalized through USDA. We're not sure the avenue yet, whether it'll be direct funding or guarantee, but it is moving forward.
Is this construction financing or equipment or?
It's construction.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's an update on that. the Avar Rail Project, we have a meeting tonight, which Alan is on that board. But I will tell you that I don't know how many of you were around and remember when we started that project. It was like a $3.5 million deal and 7 different avenues for funding. And they will be told tonight that we have 1 year left to pay on our Red Leg loan, and we owe the county $80,000. So together we owe about $175,000
Awesome.
on that project. So we're in pretty good shape.
You might touch on I think it's in your deal, the water project, but what about what you've done with the Water Resources Board on that AVAR deal, and where are we at as far as approval? Because we had to resubmit things to them after we were already approved, right?
Right, we did. We made application and we just had to wait. We were waiting until we got closer. Well, now that's on with Oklahoma Water Resources Board to get surface water and well water. And so we've made reapplication, or we finalized that application and have those. But one of the things that I did attend was an EDA, or EPA, I guess, conservation or EPA grant deal. And they told us some ways to get some funding for that. And we had been utilizing the wildfire and our, what do you call, our antiquated rural water system. And so Charlotte Hadwiger is part of our county disaster preparedness, whatever group, and she's providing me with that documentation, and I'm working with the Water Resources Board and have their numbers as far as footage and stuff for pipe. Charlene is getting me updated cost figures, and there may be a way that we can use that data and apply through the EPA to help bring the rural water district infrastructure upgrade, so that way we can have water at our industrial park. Because right now, if we were to do that, had anybody in there that had any significant water need, we would shut down water for about more than 1/3 of our county. So that's another thing that we're looking at. Went to the Oklahoma Academy for State Goals. This year the focus was on energy, Oklahoma energy, optimizing our resources for the future. And I don't know, have you guys seen the white paper on that yet? I think you'll get that in February, I believe. I know that some of it is trickled through to the governor, because I've seen some of it come out in some of his correspondence via the media, some of the suggestions that came from that. A good process. As soon as I get that white paper, I'll forward it to all of you. There's some interesting information in there. There's been a couple grant workshops. One of them was before the Northwest Oklahoma Alliance meeting, and the other was the Oklahoma Arts Council, when Kay actually had them come here, and it was hosted here at Northwest Technology Center. Census 2020. That's the big deal. I'm educating everybody on how important it is to answer that census is so critical. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Senator Murdoch. Your thoughts on Census 2020? What does that do? What does that do to you?
On
On redistricting and stuff?
So, right now, I'm about 8,000 short of what I have to represent. So, the Senate's about 80,000, House is about 38,000. They're saying I'm about 8,000 short. That's if Oklahoma goes to 4 million population. So, I'm going to try to keep this district as rural as we possibly can. I've heard rumors that it could possibly go down into Clinton. I've kind of, and the whole deal with this is you've got to okay it with other senators to move into their district. What I've looked at is taking in Roger Mills County and part of Blaine County, depending on what their population is, that I can make up the 8,000 there. I really don't want to go to Clinton. And nothing against people in Clinton, but they look at things a little different than what we do up here. The other side is this ballot initiative, and this is what's scary, is if it passes, it's going to be a board that makes it up, draws the lines. And the criteria is you have to represent an equal number of Democrats and Republicans, an equal number of minorities, and sexual orientation. So the worst,
How is that
gonna
possible?
work? That's not even realistic.
that's the criteria. And what the worst case scenario is, then our districts, or the state of Oklahoma, will look like a pinwheel, and having to reach into Oklahoma City to check mark all that criteria. And so it will be a pinwheel coming out from Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Who came up with that?
It was, the initiatives was started by Barack Obama and Eric Holder, and this was back when the state houses, when Obama was in office, was moving Republican. And if you look everywhere, every state that they're pushing this ballot initiative in, they're Republican controlled. They're not pushing this ballot initiative in Democratic controlled states.
Who's they?
This group that's associated with Obama and Holder.
Wow.
Could you give a name?
I can't. Our pro tem of the Senate is fighting this really, really hard. They've mentioned the name, and I can't. I know one of the big money guys behind it is a family out of Texas, is pouring a lot of money into this ballot initiative. But we are going to really put a fight up on that, because I think, if our people in northwest Oklahoma think totally different than people in southeast Oklahoma, and it's you can put a cross section on the state. Will our values and morals really be represented at the Capitol if we chop these districts up like that? And I think this would be horrible for, and like I said, they're doing it across the country, for rural America, and it worries me. As far as the census, how it affects me, and I think I've visited with Randy quite a bit, about every dollar that I have seen, federal money, is tied to this census that somehow. They take the census numbers on how they allocate federal funds.
That's right.
And it's very important that we get people to fill it out.
And one of the things, thank you, that I learned at the Oklahoma Economic Development Council, Brent Kissling was there talking about it, and it is where you are April 1 physically. So that means your students at Northwestern, they are counted. I know incarcerated, that they are counted. So
Well, and I'm hoping I've got a meeting with Chip Keating on Thursday. They are talking about closing Fort Supply.
Williams Key or Fort Supply?
Fort Supply. And I'm gonna,
Why?
it's too far to transport if they need medical attention. I don't know why. I'm sure that they probably, I'll find out more after the meeting. I heard this in our caucus retreat, and so that's when I set up the meeting with Chip.
So that means there will be 2 inpatient mental health facilities in the state, Veneta and Norman.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's-
That's the next year's topic for the Oklahoma State Academy of State Goals,
Wow.
is mental health.
So I'll know more after Thursday morning. I'm meeting with him. But I know we use this a lot at the Capitol, that we're gonna burn it down if they do something, but I'm going to throw a fit.
That's a lot of jobs.
Well, I talked to Alan Case. He thinks it's about 50 jobs. And I don't know if you've seen the reports where Halliburton's laying off 800 in El Reno. Well, if you do the percentage, 50 jobs in Fort Supply is a higher percentage of job loss than.
Absolutely.
And I doubt if the news media will even pick that up. But it's, you compound that on top of the oil industry slowing down. Northwest Oklahoma is hurting on jobs, and then you have them shut a prison down. It's gonna hurt us
So
even worse.
Is it a DOC, the DOC side, or is it mental health that you're talking?
DOC.
Okay, well. That's probably even worse.
So, and like I said, I'll know more about it after my meeting with Chip on Thursday. I am,
So if they close it, would they not look for any other place that can maybe meet the needs of?
well, what they're, I don't know their whole plan, I'll know more Thursday. I think, because they've got the empty prison in Watonga, and they've got the one in Sayre, and I think they're planning on moving those to either Watonga or Sayre.
Those are private facilities. Those aren't state facilities.
Those are private facilities. But like I said, I'm just assuming on that, I'll know more Thursday. But after my Thursday meeting, that's when I'm going to full court press releases. I'm gonna get a letter writing campaign, everybody out here writing letters. I'm gonna stir the pot as much as I possibly can on that, because it's, and Fort Supply, that little town is dying already. I mean, driving through, their little quick stop closed down within this last year. It's just, and they're not a lone Mohegan. You drive through all our little towns throughout northwest Oklahoma, and businesses are closing, and we're dying on the vine out here.
I think the question begs, why did they select that facility rather than
There's
something
two,
in southeast Oklahoma?
right, there's two they're shutting down, and I don't know what the other one is, but the AV chair during our caucus retreat said it's, one of them's probably gonna be Fort Supply, came and told me that.
We have a lot of students who work there.
So,
Just our ability to send people.
Yep. Can, I mean, report back to us
I
after your.
will, and I have not done a knee-jerk reaction. I wanna get the full story before.
Yeah. Interesting.
But no, the census is very important, and what I see, and I covered this a little bit last night, but I see our districts, and it, you know, everyone here knows that rural Oklahoma will lose on population, but what I see is these districts are gonna have to move east. And every time we redistrict, we lose a rural representative.
Exactly.
It really is tougher on our representatives than the Senate. Honestly, just the way politics is for me, I already have the largest district in the state. My Senate district is 22% of the state's area. A larger district just makes it harder to beat an incumbent, because you've just got so much more area, so many more towns to get to, and it's just time on the road. But what I see in our House seats, that's, so you know, Representative Newton is your representative. His district will more than likely run into Enid. So, long-term is, at some point, Enid will have the opportunity to have 3 or 4 representatives, and this area, it's gonna be a rep out of Enid. And I think we lose our voice when that happens. They will cater to what Enid needs and not what Alva needs. And that's what scares me, is just people in the rural part of the state losing their voice. And I can speak about it probably better than anybody, because I live in Felt. I know what it feels like to, no one cares about you. You're too far out there. There's not enough votes to even mess with going out there. And it's not good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. You guys have any other questions?
We do have a student I know that's working on with the university and trying to make sure we get the word out and get people signed up and all that kind of stuff, so
Good.
kind of an internship.
And the county has hired somebody to,
Well, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
it is, okay,
Yeah,
good,
that's Ethan.
okay.
And I've got a meeting set up in Guyman, I believe it's on the 20th, to visit with them about basically following what you guys are doing and hiring someone to,
OPSU could step
Could
up
do
and
that.
do some stuff.
and I visited with the president there.
Yep.
And letting them know kind of what you guys, after we had that meeting here,
Yep.
I said, this is what Woods County's doing, we need to do it clear across this district, every county needs to do this.
I related at the CD meeting also.
And I thought it was, I made this point this morning, because that was one of the things, Commerce, has kind of been the one spearheading and pushing information out, and they reached out to all 77 county assessors and only one replied. So, that wasn't a very good response.
Well, and I said this last night, in 2010 and in 2000, and I'm guilty, I didn't fill out the census because in my mind, I didn't think it was any of the government's business. But after I got elected and found out that every federal dollar is tied to that, how important that is, and the numbers that I have seen, Texas and Cimarron County, only 65% of the people filled it out that they estimated. Well, that tells me we're leaving 35% of federal dollars on the table.
Yep, it's extremely important. And so it's an education component, so
It is.
I bring it up all the time about Census 2020 and how important it is, so.
Well, and one of the selling points that we could have is, I know in this district, and I think it's a rural Oklahoma issue, but it's our hospitals. And I think we get out there and tell people, look, we can get federal dollars to our hospitals, but you have to fill this out.
Yeah. Any other questions or discussions on those? I've been forwarding you guys presentations from whatever conferences and stuff I go to, so I'm sure you're inundated with my email and have a spam place for it, but can't say that I'm not communicating. With that, Mr. Chairman, I think you're at item
C,
6.
business recruitment retention assistant. Do you have
Yeah,
anything you want to add there? Anybody else have anything?
I told Sonia that the city is participating in a READY grant, one of two communities in Oklahoma. And basically what it'll do is give us some great data about, where we need to be recruiting, whether it's retail, restaurants, manufacturing, industry, whatever it might be. I know we've only had one meeting, it's through USDA, and I can't remember the company that's working with us, but I know we'll have some community forums coming up that will start talking about it a little bit more.
and I will, there is one other thing, because I know that there are some other people that have used, but Dave Scheidler is, we will still have access to him. He, you'll get information from him from Rural Development. He is data guru, and he is gonna take on a wider multi-state and is moving to Arkansas, but we will still have
He
access
was
to
in that
him.
meeting as well, yeah.
Senator Murdoch, did you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I've got my EA working on, and the industrial hemp industry is brand new. I mean, it is the Wild West. And I have her looking for products that they make out of industrial hemp, and I guess you can make anything out of. I guess the cement that they make out of it is stronger and better than anything we have today. She's also looking into boards, making lumber.
Shingles.
And I think, your rail park out here would be a perfect spot to recruit an industry to come in and, because I know we can grow it here. We just have to manufacture it.
I was on a webinar for an hour and a half this morning on it. And it's, the products are the issue. I mean, we can grow it, what do we do with it?
Right.
And I mean, right now, I finally have seen financials on growing it and the values of it. And the CBD's why it's so popular. It's the only thing that you can really pencil a profit in right now. But it's always so interesting. It's still, from what they talked about on there, affected by supply and demand, just like any other agriculture commodity, because CBD is priced on the percentage of CBD per volume, and so it was $5 and then over the last 2 months it's dropped to under $1. So it's went from a huge profitable crop to a negative, and so
Well, it's just
agree.
like corn. When corn got up to $8 and you had farmers plowing up grass and planting more corn, we're too good at, our ag is just too good at what they do. They can grow just about anything and really pour it out there, and we'll oversupply the demand.
But I think this group and the rail, they're very interested in that. It's been a lot of discussion. If you know other things, that's definitely something we're interested in.
Well, and so, I'm the chairman of Ag and Rural Development for the Southern Legislative Conference, it's basically the old Confederate states. It's the 15 southern states in the country. And me being the chairman of that committee, I'm hoping to connect with the right industry to bring them here. I still think that this industrial hemp will take off, but we've just got to get the investors to put to build the boards, to build the shingles, to put it in the cement. And like I said, I've got my EA researching all the products and what we can actually try to recruit somebody to come here and invest and start.
That's right up our alley.
Yep. It's good
Well,
to
I
hear.
was
I'm
thinking,
glad-
roads, you get into Colorado and a lot of their highways, they've cemented them. I know north of Boise City, when you get on 287 into Colorado, it's cement, I think maybe all the way to Lamar. And, if we can make cement out of hemp, when we start, it'll help our county roads and bridges. And
All right, anybody else on that?
When will that ready grant be done, that project?
Well, they just sent out the last email to start looking at dates for that first community deal, so I don't know.
End of 2020?
Yeah, I would think, I think we'd have the data some at some point next year.
Okay, because there's probably some data to come out of that would help with some grant
Yes,
appraisal,
yeah.
so, okay.
Guess we're ready for item number 6. I would make a motion to enter into executive session. We have an entity opportunity maybe that's come before us we probably need to discuss a little bit.
I'll second.
Motion by Poe, second by Hannaford. Poe,
Yes.
Hannaford.
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
McMurphy,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
And the last one, I don't know who of you attended, but they had a grant workshop prior to. And that was where I was able to get some more of the water infrastructure information, I guess, and where they had a lady from Weatherford. It was a grant writer for their community, there's to speak. But I will send you their NOAA update. There's not I think they have a date set yet for their reception. Yeah, no.
Any other new business? Item 12? Anybody else? Announcements. Hearing none. Adjournment?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Second, third.
Motion by Decker, second by Hannaford. Decker.
Yes.
Hannaford.
Yes.
McMurphy.
Yes.
Eaton.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Poe.